Hey, Jack, I'm gonna need a little weed for this one. Okay. Here you go. Thank you. Aloha nerds, and welcome back to the Salawag's Why It's Great Gut Reaction. And today I'm giving you another late review on something I saw a few weeks ago. Look Away. This movie was directed by Assaf Bernstein, who also directed Fauda on Netflix and The Debt, which is also on Netflix. I don't know what that's on. But yeah, no, Look Away. Okay, horror fans and cinema nerds, you might enjoy this movie. Look Away is a story about a young, a high school student who is in a very controlling household. The dad sort of keeps, they all live very well. It's a very nice house, huge house. But it all looks very sterile and clean and minimal, and the dad's this real, he's kind of creepy but insanely controlling, very controlling of the mother, played by Mira Sorvino, who you gotta know from Mimic and Modern Family and so many other projects. Hats off, Mira Sorvino. But I also want to shout out to the dad, who has been in so many movies I've loved. Jason Isaacs, who was, he's on Star Trek Discovery recently, the Harry Potter films as Draco Malfoy's dad. What is it? Oh no, I didn't write anything else for him. But he's in a lot of stuff. He was in Armageddon as the smartest man in the world, essentially. And that his scenes in that movie I love, because anyway, watch that movie to find out why I love it. But yeah, a lot of great people. And the main actress, India Eisley, I recognized her from somewhere, and when I looked her up, it was Underworld Awakening. Apparently also Secret Life of a Teenager. All these actors, of course, have a lot more credits under their name. But I just thought this movie reminded me a lot of when I was in college, and I had these friends who were real cinema nerds, and that's where I realized I'm not a cinema nerd. I just like movies. I love making stuff. I love getting my hands in there and making whatever I want to make. But and I loved watching bonus feature material. I thought that made me a nerd, because I didn't just love the movies I loved. I figured out every single thing about how they were made. I figured out every single thing about the movies that inspired the filmmakers that made that movie. So I tried to watch those movies. I tried to watch their other films. And I felt, oh, I'm a cinema nerd. I was a geek to a point, but there was a lot of film out there I just hadn't seen. If you stick to blockbusters and just watch the history of blockbuster movies, you're not really getting the full cinema experience. And I was fortunate to have a couple friends in college who tried to expose me to that. And they were the ones who showed me, what was that movie called? The one about the girl who becomes a werewolf. Ginger Snaps. There we go. Ginger Snaps. Teeth. I think Look Away fits in that kind of vein of the small indie, but really good, really well made, creepy movie. So. Yeah, I'm putting it right there. If you enjoy those films and know what those films mean in a cinema sense, then I think you'll like Look Away. So the movie Look Away is about the slow crushing of this young woman's sort of soul. She's in a house where the father's extremely controlling, to the point where everyone's room is empty but sterile and perfectly clean. And he's bothered if she looks disheveled, and tells her to clean herself up before she goes to school. And when she goes to school, she's bullied, and her best friend is popular but doesn't stick up for her. And at one point, the best friend even is on the side of the bullies. So we have this character who's slowly being crushed, even though she's well-to-do. She's still just being crushed and destroyed on the inside in a very slow, painful way. And, this movie, there's some ice skating. There's some ice skating in this movie. Oh, I'm on the wrong movie. That's not Look Away. There we go. I saw this movie through the Amazon Prime HBO extension, so if you have that, that's a great way to watch this movie. Maybe it'll pop up on HBO, the channel itself. I don't know. I have the HBO extension. That's what I watch now. But yeah, so she's slowly being crushed, but all the while, every time this girl is looks into a mirror, her reflection looks back at her, but not with the same expression. It seems that every time she looks with the mirror, there's another version of herself looking at her, sort of with a different character and a different attitude, and sort of getting into the premise of the movie here. At a certain point, she switches places with this doppelganger in the mirror that doesn't look like her. And throughout the movie, you kind of question, is this some kind of spirit that's possessing her image? Is this perhaps, maybe there's a fantasy twist somewhere in this movie? And there's a little bit of backstory later on that explains this. I don't want to get into it because I think, for the first time viewer, again, if you love movies like I described, Teeth and Ginger Snaps, while this is not a violent special effect movie in that regard, much more in the line of Teeth, it's just a very subtle creeper kind of movie, a slow burn creeper kind of movie. But eventually, because the character is being crushed by her world, she lets this doppelganger take over her body, and then she goes into the mirror and watches what the doppelganger does. And the doppelganger takes control of her life, gets the bullies off of her, gets some revenge on the friend for not protecting her. And I'm not going to say how or what happens, but I can tell you, if you understand this is a horror creepy movie, yeah, 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 yeah. What you think I'm saying is what I'm saying. But it's good. It's good. It's a good little movie. And when they get to the doppelganger switch, I'm not going to lie, they touch onto those elements in a way that doesn't totally work for me. It may not work for you, but I loved the filmmaking of it so much at that point that I was willing to go to the end and see where it went. And I'm happy with where it went. It's just an awkward transition, but I'll just take it because that's the premise of the movie. That's what we're trying to get to. So just give it a shot if you like that Ginger Snaps, Antichrist type of Antichrist, another slow, creepy, the violence happens in a weird way kind of movie. And even the use of the nudity, kind of, there's something different about it. There's something very different about it. I would have to buy the movie and and watch the interviews and all that stuff to grasp it. But I like what they were going for in this movie. I liked it a lot. So anyway, if you're a cinephile of the creepy indie genre, I think you'll enjoy Look Away a lot. The cast is fantastic. I mean, it really hangs on the three names that I mentioned. There's other characters who have their parts in the movie, but yeah, I think it works well in the vein of movies if you've seen that type of movie and want a little bit more of that. So thank you to the friends who opened up my cinematic world. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the reference points to celebrate this movie and enjoy this movie. I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much without that kind of history. So thank you guys. But anyway, all the best to all of you. And yeah, if you want more, subscribe. And if you don't want more, cool.